Uranus by Luke and Morgan. Uranus is a Jovian planet. Uranus is a ball of ice and gas. It's an ice giant. It's made up of water, ammonia, ice, and methane. The core is made up of rock that is about 9,000 degrees. Outside the core, there is water, methane, and ammonia. Uranus is 19.7 AUs from the Sun. One day on Uranus takes about 17 Earth hours, but it takes about 84 years to orbit the Sun. It's the only planet not named after a Roman god. Earth and Uranus are both tilted on their axes, and both have natural satellites orbiting them. Uranus has 27 moons, has 11 rings, and its atmosphere contains methane, helium, and hydrogen, whereas Earth contains nitrogen and oxygen. Uranus hits the coldest temperature of any planet. Its moons are named after Shakespeare and Alexander Pope characters, and Uranus orbits on its side.
Who discovered the planet and when? Sir William Herschel found the seventh planet on March 13th, 1781, while looking for comets in the sky. After this, he was knighted after his discovery. How were they able to be sure of the discovery? Herschel discovered the new planet and was first in modern times and used a telescope. It allowed Herschel to distinguish Uranus as a planet, not a star as previous astronomers believed. In 2005, NASA announced the discovery of a new pair of rings around the planet and two new small moons taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. What specific methods have been used to study the planet since its discovery? On January 1986, the U.S. sent Voyager 2 into space and discovered 10 more moons to the 5 already known, and a system of 2 faint rings. Also, the use of the telescope has been a way to study the planet. What are 3 interesting questions scientists still have about the planet? A question would be, why does it have a sideways spin? All other planets have rings around the same axis except Uranus. Its tilt is 98 degrees, making its north and south poles where about Earth's equator is. Another question is how Uranus keeps its cool. It radiates almost no heat into space, and planets are expected to have heat left over inside from their formation process. The third question is, where was Uranus born? Recent models of how other planets formed suggest Saturn and 2 ice giants were once scrunched in much closer to Jupiter. What missions are proposed or underway to study the planet? The first mission is ESA Uranus Pathfinder. This mission to the planet is to be launched in 2022 and arrive at Uranus in September 2030. However, this mission is considered to be lower priority than future missions to Mars and the Jovian system. Another mission was announced in 2015 by NASA as a possibility of an orbital mission to Uranus and Neptune with a budget of $2 billion. According to NASA, the project would launch in the late 2020s at the earliest. And another mission by MUSE proposed in 2015 is to have a dedicated mission to Uranus to study its atmosphere, interior, moons, rings, and magnetosphere. It is suggested to be launched in 2026, arriving in 2044, and operating until 2050. What instruments will be used on these missions and how do they work? An instrument would be the particle detector. The detector consists of layers of different types of material which are used to either show us the path of a particle as it travels or absorb it to make the particle stop. Doing that, we can identify different types of particles depending on where they stop in the detector and what their path of travel looks like. Another instrument is the magnetometer. There are two types. The scalar magnetometer measures the strength of magnetic field, and the vector magnetometer measures the direction by sensors that produce a voltage that is proportional to the strength of a magnetic field. The other instrument is the imaging camera. It films imaging, which requires the use of satellite return technology to obtain images captured on orbit. When solar radiation interferes with ultraviolet light, scientists use the solar blind camera, which captures ultraviolet emitting bodies. And these are our sources.